Travel with us to Imo State, Nigeria to get traditionally married. We were up bright and early for our 10 a.m. flight because, let me tell you, traffic in Lagos is nothing to be played with, and we wanted ample time for the check-in and boarding process. We did not know what to expect from Air Peace. We had heard so many horror stories, but honestly, the experience was smooth from start to finish. Our flight landed at Sam Mbakwe Airport in Owerri, which is where Chuk's brother came to pick us up. And y'all, at this point, this is where I was really introduced to Nigerian lifestyle, okay? Because we had a whole armed convoy for the entire duration of our stay. Once we arrived, we checked in at our hotel at Bond Tripod in Owerri. This is honestly one of the best hotels I have stayed at. The service and hospitality there, truly unmatched. The next day was just dedicated to my husband flexing, because why did this man pull out the entire armed convoy to take me to nowhere else but the hair salon? Like, this is so funny to me because these men were literally just waiting outside for me to finish my hair and makeup. I walked out of the salon just feeling like a brand new woman. Hair done, makeup done. Like, you really couldn't tell me nothing at that point. So from there, we went to visit my in-laws, and honestly, this was one of my favorite parts of the trip. It's no surprise that I was born and raised in America, so this was really my first opportunity to see Chuk's childhood home and, really see firsthand how he grew up. The next day, we had lunch at our hotel before heading to Mbiri to visit Chuk's aunties and uncles. I was really getting a kick out of our police escorts. Like, they were stopping traffic, like clearing the road. I felt like the whole first lady of Nigeria, I swear. And Chuk's was welcomed back like a king. Like, people were literally stopping him on the road to hug him, kiss him, tell him hello, welcome him back. We went to see his grandmother, who's just an absolute gem. Like, she's so cute. And she even was like, who are these photographers recording her? She was really funny. I loved her so much. And even like just getting to meet her for the first time, she was just so warm, like welcomed me with open arms, like hugging me. Just honestly felt like my own grandmother. For me, it's always a treat to spend time with elders just because they have literally been walking this earth for so much longer than you have, and they have all this wisdom and knowledge to share. Next, we went to visit one of Chuk's uncles. That was a really great experience. He gave me a brief tour of some of the resources he's building for their local community, which was really, really inspiring. The family reunion didn't end there. Daddy, I'm home! We spent Christmas Day at my paternal home in Mbise, and it was so great to get to introduce Chuk to all my aunties and uncles, most of whom actually flew in from the States just to be at our wedding.
How are you?
I like this.
Welcome to Panama.
I know.
Wow, this is awesome.
Thank you.
I just go. Nice to meet you, man.
Nervous. About what?
Yeah, ready to do it, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
After we had lunch at my youngest uncle's house, my dad's eldest brother gave us a tour of my great-great-grandparents' home. This is our family's old compound before everyone moved and started building their houses on the other side. And this was a really great experience for me to just learn more about my family history. While in Mbise, we also went to my maternal home, and this gave me a whole new meaning to got it from my mama, because I look like literally all my aunties and uncles.
Same exact face.
Right, yeah.
I see where I got my guy.
A few days later, my mom and sisters finally got to town, and that's when the wedding festivities officially began. Like and follow for part 2. Let's get into it. This is look 2 of 3 for my Igbo traditional wedding. If you've been keeping up, you know I worked with Style by Rivero to help define the look and feel for all of my outfits. And y'all, when I say it literally took weeks to figure out what I was gonna wear for this look, they sent me countless videos of fabric before we finally agreed on this purple George fabric. Once we finalized the color and material, we sent it to Amy Agomi, who shared this sketch for the design. I was in love the moment I saw her sketch, but I wanted a fully beaded corset and I wanted it to be purple. Just days after I got to Lagos, my stylist and I went to Amy's studio in Lekki Phase 1 for my first fitting. Can we talk about how this dress was just sitting? Like, no hand beading even added yet, and the dress was fitted to perfection. No, because for real, this is what the girlies mean when we hit you up and ask you to make us a dress. And if you've been following our page for some time now, you know that some Nigerian tailors can truly be enemies of progress. Next, it was time to pick out my accessories, and one thing about Igbo brides, we love us a good hand fan. Unfortunately, my first fan was a hot mess.
It's nice.
Is it? Once we got that fixed, the outfit turned out perfect. Chooks didn't get to see my outfits beforehand. I didn't get to see his. So when we first saw each other, sparks started flying. I absolutely love how our outfits turned out. We just looked amazing together, and this outfit just needs to be framed somewhere in our house. I loved it so, so much. Here's the first of 3 outfits for my Nigerian traditional wedding. Long before we finalized the design, I knew that one of my 3 dresses had to be green. Our invitations were green, we had a green carpet for our guests, and we're both Nigerian, so it was a no-brainer that green would be a staple color at our wedding. My stylist and I called on the one and only Imagined by Bukola to custom make this dress for me. I came 2 weeks before my wedding to try on the base of the dress, and it was snatched to perfection. The only issue was that the bust was too big. I played it cool, but I was still a bit concerned because my flight to the east was just days away, and beading and feathers still needed to be added to the dress. 2 days later, and just the night before my flight, I went back to their studio to try on the dress again, and by that point, the dress had done a complete 180. Even without the feathers, the dress was beautiful. So we agreed to remove the feathers from the design and leave the dress as is. They were still finishing hand beading on the corset, so I wasn't able to fly with my dress to Imo State, which is where my husband and I are from and where our wedding is being held. But the lead designer, Bukola, called me herself to apologize and even had the dress flown to me. And y'all, this is how the dress came out. It was an absolute showstopper. I felt so confident in my dress, and y'all already know my husband was fangirling the entire night. Honestly, just my biggest cheerleader, and I loved how it turned out. Stay tuned for part 2 of our traditional wedding. Welcome back to our traditional wedding vlog. It was also the day before our church wedding, so we had a lot to do, starting with our wedding rehearsal at the Assumpta Cathedral in Owerri. After rehearsals, the drivers took us back to our hotels to get ready with hair and makeup for our traditional marriage ceremony in Mbise. I wore this beautiful red gown, custom made for me in the States by my mom's seamstress. When we arrived in the village, we were greeted by family members on both sides who'd actually been there since that morning discussing and negotiating my bride price. And let me be the first to tell you, if you don't know, that when it comes to Mbise in particular, we do not play about our brides, about the bride price, nor do we play about our Igbo traditional marriage customs. And if you're planning on marrying an Mbise woman who was born, raised, and educated overseas, just prepare yourself and your family to spend that entire day negotiating her bride price. Given that my dad is late, my uncle, as his eldest brother, graciously assumed all the responsibilities and traditions my father would have taken on, such as handing me this cup of palm wine to serve to my husband after searching for and correctly identifying him in the crowd. That day, I put on my most comfortable shoes because Chooks had already given me the heads up that he was going to make it so difficult for me to find him in the crowd. And once I found him, I gave him the cup, which signifies that he is indeed my husband. He returns the cup to me with money inside, which we then took to my uncle and my mom for their blessing.
Oh, I have not worried, and that is this. The groom, I know she is our family baby. Can you imagine that this lady, with him in America, Belagwam Nanga Boga and a village? Kajeme Omenala, Watara, Alumina wine. My way I say, or the BMJ, Donado nor there, Austin nor there, they can handle it. Yasimba, Uncle, all of that year, honor around, or about one to me, hello, you hand there over to the husband.
Our sons and daughters will be as numerous as the stars in heaven. Amen.
Amen. Oh, to dear Chukuma, you wanya. What a clear, I got it while I got when our children, I need you. Oh, why? I got it.
And just like that, we are officially husband and wife. All our planning and preparation led to this moment, and it couldn't have been more perfect. We hope you enjoyed our vlog. Like and follow for part 4.